Talking Shirts is presented in partnership with White Oak Cottage. For more information, visit whiteoakcottage.co.uk.
Hello and welcome to episode number 107 of Talking Shirts. I'm Mike from Hulk Shirts and we are here today with the 2023 alternate Queensland shirt. Now I've gone on record to say that the diamond shirt was my favourite from 2023, but that takes away absolutely nothing from this. This was a close second. It's an absolutely fantastic shirt and one that I'm going to be able to talk about to you once again. Now this isn't the first time, nor is it the second time that I've actually covered the Queensland shirt. We did a replica when it first came out, and then we've also covered a match worn example as well. But that, as I've said, that's not going to stop me talking to you guys about this one today. So this one that I've got here was actually worn by Brad Schneider. Signed on a short-term deal during the 2023 season. He went on to kind of make a bit of a name for himself in East Hull, with a lot of people sad to see him leave at the end of that short-term deal. There'll be more on that after the break. So yeah, let's take a look at the shirt. So it's got the maroon and gold design. We've heavily spoken about this in the past, focused around the Queensland Rugby League side that the Robins did defeat during 1983. Obviously celebrating the 40th anniversary using one of our styles in their colours. I thought it was a really clever and quirky idea when it came to kit design. All of the sponsors on here feature in either maroon or gold. We've got that two-tone colour going along to the shirt. So when you look at it, we've got the shirt in maroon, and anything that features on the maroon features in gold, and anything that features on gold is in maroon. And I think it's a really good way to be able to sell an idea to sponsors, because even though they blend in nicely aesthetically, they also boom quite well. So it depends on what sort of perspective you look at it from, because they're really clean on there and it looks really clear. But also you could argue that it blends in as well. So if you've got a really good marketing team that can sell that idea to your sponsors, I'm sure it's quite easy for them to buy into. One point that I want to make on here, which is probably really, really strange, but it was vital in me being able to prove what game this shirt was worn in, and it's this loose thread that's here. So this it's a loose thread, obviously, maybe 3 inches long. It's kind of sticking out the shirt. Now it's still attached at this end. Now there's a reason why I've not actually cut this thread loose, and the reason for that is because I've actually found a picture of Brad Schneider wearing this shirt with that cotton quite visibly on show. I will pop a picture up. I'm sorry, Brad, you are looking quite sad, and rightly so. This was taken in the rain at St Helens, just 6 days after the Challenge Cup final defeat during 2023. St Helens is a very difficult place to go, even more so after a heartbreaking defeat like we experienced at Wembley. The weather has obviously added a little bit of emotion in there as well, but if you look really closely, and we'll zoom in on it, you can actually see this loose piece of thread that is on Brad's shirt there. So yeah, it's it's quite interesting, to say the least, that this actually features, and was quite heavily involved in being able to prove that this shirt was worn in that game. So let's have a little look at the sleeve. So on this left sleeve I was wearing, we have got the number 83. That was to signify the year that we beat Queensland. It was also a little bit of a nod to the fact that the Queensland squad that day did have squad numbers on the sleeves as well as the back of the shirt. We've got Richardson's Food and Safety Consulting Limited. Mark's become quite a big, strong sponsor around the club, sponsoring shirts, but also sponsoring matches at Craven Park as well. I'm sure you've seen his branding featured quite prominently across the club, and also heard his branding, his company, read out on a match day as well. So yeah, Mark's doing some really, really good work with the club there, supporting them as best as he can. And we've got the University of Hull branding. So their branding features on the sleeve here. It has actually been heat applied opposed to being dye sublimated in, mostly down to the fact that it was a late edition sponsor, and that's why that features as a heat applied sponsor rather than that dye sublimation technique used for all the others. And then we've got this lovely gold cuff here that just finishes the design off nicely. In addition to the gold collar, it just adds that little bit of sort of extra colour, shall we say, to the shirt. It just breaks it up. I always think if you didn't have these cuffs on and it was just straight ending with the maroon, it wouldn't be as effective as it is with having that gold cuff on there. And we now take a look at the other sleeve here. So this is now the right sleeve as if you are wearing it. Also, once again, we've got the squad number idea with the 83 being die sublimated into the top, and then we've got Easy Buy. Their branding features quite prominently across quite a lot of kits. They've also got some sponsorship at the stadium as well, sponsoring the dugouts. So yeah, that's really good of those guys. And then we've got the Betfred Super League patch. Now, this one here is absolutely battered. Now, clearly when it was applied, there was a bit of a crinkle in the shirt, and at some point that crinkle has then torn. But again, this is just more evidence of being able to signify that a shirt has been worn within a known game, and it was also something where I used this to be able to kind of pinpoint the games. Well, I suppose pinpoint the games. I think Brad only actually played 2 games in this shirt. I think we only played 2 games in this style of shirt while he was at the club actually. So it was quite easy in the sense of knowing whether he played or not. But whether it was this exact shirt always takes a little bit more sort of working out. But yeah, there's some lovely damage that's going on to the back of the shirt there. So that's everything for part 1 of episode number 107 of Talking Shirts. We'll have a quick word from our sponsor, and then we'll be back with part 2.
White Oak Cottage is a 2-bedroom luxury holiday cottage set in the stunning Lincolnshire Wolds. It has 2 ensuite bedrooms, a hot tub, wood burner, Wi-Fi, electric vehicle charger, and is pet friendly. It is ideally situated in the Wolds, yet only 15 miles from the coast and 25 miles from the historic city of Lincoln. For more information, visit whiteoakcottage.co.uk.
Welcome back to part 2 of episode number 107 of Talking Shirts. Before the break, we was talking around this 2023 alternate Queensland shirt, and we are now back with the reverse. So on the reverse of this shirt here, you can see that we have got this Robin icon, something that I've spoken quite fondly about. I love the way that this has been included within shirts since 2022. Obviously, it featured right up here on the collar in the first year, and it's now dropped down onto the sort of the back of the shirt for this 2023 season, and we also see it in a very similar place for 2024, albeit a little bit smaller. Harrison Solway's branding and the Higher Base branding, again, 2 companies that I've spoken so strongly about in terms of their sponsorship on our kits. They've been integral to our success, really. Without these sponsors, we wouldn't be able to achieve things that we can achieve in this modern day. You'll also see that we have got the name Schneider and the squad number 37 applied to the back of the shirt. Now, one thing that's quite interesting is normally with mid-season signings, especially somebody that comes in quite late in the season, the club tend to be running quite low on player spec shirts. So shirts then have to be sort of repurposed for different players. Now, this shirt was actually originally had Will Tate and the number 28 on the back. I will try and get some close-up shots put up in the right lighting for you to be able to kind of see where that change has happened. It is quite easy to see on the inside, so again, if I can get a picture of that where it's quite clear, I will pop that in for you so you're able to see. There wasn't any sort of name templates for Brad Schneider when he arrived at the club. It's not a surname that has been used in the Super League, which then obviously means that the letters of all have had to be placed down individually, which then can kind of lead to a few sort of inconsistencies. This one isn't too bad, but I did see a couple of Brad shirts where the S&C was a little bit higher than the rest of the letters that featured across the back of the shirt. I think Burns has actually done quite a good job in this one in keeping it as straight as physically possible when it comes to heat applying sort of names and numbers to the back of the shirts. And again, with mid-season signings, you end up with quite a high squad number. Obviously, this one was number 37. So yeah, Brad arrived on a short-term deal after the retirement of Lachlan Coote. That freed up a quota spot, and the club acted quite quickly to get Brad in from the Canberra Raiders. Now, when Brad signed for the club, I think everybody was kind of like, you know, who's this guy? What have we done this for? Which is generally most people's reactions to any signing of any player that they've never heard of before. Obviously, we'll have some scouts and some trusted sources in Australia who will have pointed us in the position of Brad being somebody who was worth taking a punt on a short-term deal. And I think it's safe to say that it worked out fairly well in that period of time. Obviously, his his debut at the Leeds Rhinos, scores a try, scores a drop goal to win the game. At the second attempt, it only just went over, but they all count. They're all worth that 1 point. And it did just about scrape the crossbar on its way through. But again, it was a fantastic debut for Brad to be able to remember, and then to return to the same stadium the following week and inspire the Robins to a victory over the Wigan Warriors to reach their first Challenge Cup final in 8 years. Again, another moment and another memory that will long last for the Robins supporters. Obviously, he played in the Challenge Cup final at Wembley as well. I know a few people might say he should have made touch with that penalty late on, and you're right, he should have done. But without him, we wouldn't have been there in the first place. And rightly or wrongly, that's sport. It is what it is. I wouldn't change anything about how this guy approached the game. It was just one of those things on that given day. At this moment in time, he is actually plying his trade with the Penrith Panthers, arguably the best team in the NRL, maybe even the world. I suppose the Wigan Warriors supporters might have something to say about that after they beat them in the World Cup Challenge earlier this year. But they're definitely, in that top echelon of clubs. Brad has had some fortunate appearances early in the season due to an injury to Nathan Cleary. He's clearly gone there as a development player to work with two of the best halfbacks that Australia has to offer, and I'm sure this guy will be learning absolutely no end. So continue your hard work and keep everything going, Brad. It was a short-term deal with us. It may have become a little bit more long-term had we have not already committed to other transfer targets. But I think it's safe to say that this guy will be quite fondly remembered for his 12 appearances in East Hull, 40 goals, 2 drop goals, 94 points across 12 appearances. I don't think that is too shabby at all. So yeah, that's everything for episode number 107 of Talking Shirts. Hope you've enjoyed your tour around the 2023 alternate Queensland shirt, but also just a little bit of an insight into Brad Schneider and what my opinions are on him as a player. Thank you very much for watching. Check back in another couple of weeks, episode number 108, where I take you all the way back to 2005. Interesting. Yeah, hopefully you look forward to seeing that. Feel free to check out all of our past video content. We've got so many videos now. And also keep an eye on our social media channels for any exciting new arrivals that I'd like to tease and sort of share with you. There's always stuff coming in, so yeah, make sure you keep looking at those. Thank you very much for watching. See you all again soon. Bye for now.